Number 7. The Kingdom of Kush. The Kingdom of Kush was an ancient Nubian kingdom that thrived in what is now northern Sudan from around 2000 BCE to 350 CE. Kush was located just south of Egypt along the Nile River and was known for its wealth and power. It actually played a significant role in the region's history, rivaling the Egyptians at times. But most people have never heard of it. In fact, one of the most famous rulers of Kush, a guy named Taharqa, once led his army north and captured the Egyptian capital of Thebes. He even looted the city and took treasures back to his own capital at Napata. The Egyptian pharaohs weren't too happy about this, and they eventually fought back. But it wasn't just the Egyptians who had to worry about Cusco's military might. Rome got a taste of it when Cusco sent an army to help out another kingdom in 236 BC. The Romans were actually quite impressed by the Kushite army. They had never seen elephants fighting alongside chariots before. And apparently, the sight was pretty spectacular. But there was only one problem for the Kush Empire: the Sahara. See, as time went on, the Sahara slowly turned from grassland into desert. This made it hard for the Kush Empire to get food and water for its people, and so the empire fell apart around 350 CE. But before that happened, they created some magnificent pyramids. In fact, they built more pyramids than anyone else in the ancient world, with at least 20 pyramids still standing today. Number 6. The Kingdom of Axum. Axum is an ancient civilization that flourished in what is now northern Ethiopia and Eritrea between the 1st century and the 9th century CE. It was a major player during the time of Christ and had a big impact on the surrounding regions. Like Kush, Axum was rich and powerful, controlling trade routes across the Red Sea and making a ton of money from it. But again, most people don't know much about them. One of the most famous rulers of Axum, Ezana, converted the empire to Christianity in the 4th century CE. This was a huge deal because it spread Christianity throughout Ethiopia. To this day, Ethiopia is one of the oldest Christian countries in the world. Axum also had another thing in common with Kush. Both were trading partners with Rome. So the Romans knew all about them. But the Roman Empire didn't last forever, and neither did Axum. As the Roman Empire fell apart, trade in the region slowed down, which caused Axum's economy to crash. They tried to fight back against outside forces trying to take their land, but it didn't work. By the 9th century CE, Axum was gone. However, before they disappeared, they built some impressive structures like the Stele of Axum. These are giant stone pillars that were built over 1,500 years ago. They are over 30 meters tall and weigh up to 500 tons. Nobody knows exactly why they were built, but some historians believe they marked the tombs of important people. Number 5. The Kingdom of Ghana. The Kingdom of Ghana was one of the largest empires in the history of West Africa. It was located in the modern-day countries of Senegal and Mauritania, and lasted from around 300 to 1240 CE. At its peak, the Ghana Empire stretched over 1.6 million square kilometers, making it bigger than any other empire in Africa at the time. They also made a lot of money. The empire controlled the trade of gold and salt in the region. Gold was a hot commodity since it was used to make fancy items for the rich. And salt was super important because it could preserve food, and both were extremely valuable. If you had some, you were rich. But despite their wealth, size, and influence, most people today have never heard of Ghana. In fact, when the Arab traveler Leo visited the empire in the 12th century, he said that there were no historians in Ghana. This means that almost everything we know about them comes from other people who visited or traded with them. We don't really have any records written by the Ghanaians themselves. However, we do know that the empire eventually collapsed due to overgrazing, drought, and attacks from neighboring states. But before they disappeared, they created some amazing works of art. For example, they were expert goldsmiths and made some stunning jewelry and statues. They also built mosques and universities. One of the most famous sites in Ghana is the Great Mosque of Djenne, which is the largest mud brick structure in the world. Number 4. The Kingdom of Kongo. The Kingdom of Kongo was a large empire located in what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It existed from the 14th to the 19th century and was one of the most powerful states in Central Africa. At its peak, the empire controlled the trade of ivory, gold, diamonds, and above all, slaves. The kings of Congo grew very rich from selling slaves, and they used that money to build impressive palaces. They also built schools and churches. However, the wealth from the slave trade didn't last forever. As the 19th century progressed, European powers started taking over the Congo and exploiting its resources. They forced the people of the Congo to grow cash crops instead of food, and they also put them to work in brutal conditions. Eventually, the Kingdom of Congo was completely destroyed, and the people were left with nothing. Yet somehow most people have never heard of it. What? Here's a fun fact about the Kongo Empire. When Portuguese explorers first arrived in the 15th century, they thought they were in India, so they called the people of the Congo Indians. This caused a lot of confusion, but eventually the name stuck, and that's how we got the word Congo. Number 3. The Mayan Empire. The Mayan civilization was an ancient Mesoamerican civilization that existed from around 2000 BCE to 1697 CE. It was located in what is now Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and El Salvador. The Mayans were known for their advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and architecture. They built some incredible pyramids and temples, but they also developed a sophisticated writing system and a calendar that was more accurate than the Gregorian calendar we use today. Despite all these accomplishments, the Mayans mysteriously collapsed around 900 CE. Some experts believe it was because of climate change, while others think it was due to overpopulation or war. But whatever the reason, the Mayan civilization vanished almost overnight. And although it's located in Mexico, most people haven't heard of it. I mean, everybody knows about Greece and Rome, right? Well, not quite. According to a survey conducted by the BBC in 2018, only 44% of Americans could identify Greece on a map, and only 37% could find Rome. That's not exactly stellar when you consider that both civilizations are considered the basis for Western culture. Number 2. The Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization was an ancient civilization located in what is now Pakistan and northwest India. It existed from around 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE and was one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. The Indus people built impressive cities with advanced plumbing and sewage systems. They also had a sophisticated system of writing, but so far archaeologists haven't been able to decipher it. This makes it hard to learn about the Indus people, but they were likely very advanced for their time. In fact, some experts believe that the Indus Valley civilization was home to the world's first true metropolis. That would be Mohenjo-daro, which had a population of around 40,000 people. Sadly, the civilization eventually collapsed, possibly due to climate change or an invasion by nomadic tribes. But before they disappeared, they left behind some amazing artifacts. For example, they were expert metalworkers and made some stunning sculptures and jewelry. They also built impressive temples and shrines. One of the most famous sites in the Indus Valley is the Great Bath, a huge pool that was probably used for religious ceremonies. Number 1. The Minoan Civilization. The Minoan Civilization was an ancient Bronze Age culture that flourished on the island of Crete from around 2700 BCE to 1450 BCE. The Minoans were known for their advanced knowledge of seafaring and trade. They also built impressive palaces and temples, but their biggest claim to fame is that they allegedly had a queen named Elizabeth. According to Greek legend, King Minos of Crete had an affair with a white bull, which resulted in the birth of the Minotaur. The Minotaur was half human and half bull, and it lived in a labyrinth until Theseus came along. If you've heard the story of the labyrinth, then you know the rest. However, while the legend is famous, most people don't know about the Minoan civilization itself. The truth is they were an advanced society with a sophisticated system of writing. They were also great artists and created some stunning frescoes and sculptures. Sadly, the civilization was destroyed in 1450 BCE when the island of Crete was invaded by the Mycenaeans. So there you have it, 7 lost empires they don't teach in school. Did you learn anything new? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to stay tuned for more videos about ancient civilizations. From the Kingdom of Kush and Axum, to the riches of Ghana and the power of Congo, from the mysteries of the Mayan Empire, to the ancient brilliance of the Indus Valley and the rise and fall of the Minoan Civilization. These lost empires shaped our world in ways we're only beginning to uncover. Which of these civilizations surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through history's forgotten powers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Histromystic for more untold stories of the past. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of history.